Good morning, good afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about 5.5, the Pythagorean theorem. You might have been kind of heard this word before and not known what it was. Well, the Pythagorean theorem is going to be we're going to use it to be able to find missing side lengths of right triangles using the Pythagorean theorem. Right triangles, remember, have that right angle or that 90-degree angle. And then determine if a triangle is a right triangle using the Pythagorean theorem. Alright, so first we need to do a few vocabulary. A right triangle is a triangle with one right angle. We should also know that the hypotenuse is the longest side on the right triangle. This side is always opposite of the right angle. And then the legs, or the leg, is the side of a right triangle that form the right angle. So here's my right angle denoted with this little box here, and it's kind of always going to be pointing towards the hypotenuse. These two come together to create that right triangle, so these two are the legs. Okay, and this big long word is going to be the Pythagorean theorem. It's going to be a theory used to find a missing side length of a right triangle when the other two sides are known. In a right triangle, the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse. So what this is our formula. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. When A and B are the side lengths or the legs, and C is going to always be the hypotenuse or the one that is opposite of that right angle here. Okay, so always remember that this is going to be your hypotenuse. N-U-S-E. Okay. So let's do a few. Write an equation you could use to find the length of a missing side of each right triangle. Then find the missing length. Round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So just a quick review. When we have something that looks like this, and we have a number in here, this is the square root. So what times itself equals 81? Well, 9 does. Also, 9 squared really means 9 times 9, which is equal to 81. So this little guy right here is telling me to multiply this number by itself twice. Okay, so let's go here. We have our two side lengths, so we need to first figure out that we have which are the legs. So these two are my legs, and this is my hypotenuse. Well, my C is unknown. So my first thing I want to do is write an equation So it would be 18 squared. So 18 is my A. And then plus the B, or the other leg, and I should put this legs, 24 squared. And so it's going to equal C squared. Well, this is where you're going to take a calculator and you're going to do 18 times 18. And that is going to get me, let's see, I want to show you, you can do 18 times 18 equals 324. And then I want to do 24 times 24, and that's going to get me 576. Remember, order of operations says that I have to do the squares or the exponents first. So I got rid of those exponents by multiplying the bases by itself. Now I have to do this math. 324 plus 576 gets me 900 equals C squared. This is where we might have not seen this as much. When I have C squared and I need to get C by itself, I want to know what C is, not C squared. So I need to get rid of this 2 here. Well, to undo that, I need to find the square root of it. If I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other. So I'm going to square root both sides. So these 2 cancel out, the 2 as the exponent and my square root symbol. So that leaves me with just C. Well, now I need to figure out what times itself will get me 900. So I don't know if a lot of you have on a simple calculator, I don't know if you will have it, but if you put 900 and push my little square root symbol like that, that's the X inside here, it's going to give you 30. If you want to check your answer, 30 times 30 should get me 900. So square root of 900 is equal to 30. My answer should be written with my label of 30 yards. Okay, so let's go to this one. Figure out which one is my hypotenuse. Which 2 are my legs. So these 2 are my legs. So I'm going to have 3 squared plus B squared equals my hypotenuse squared. So 3 squared is 9. I can't do B squared because B hasn't been assigned a number yet. So plus B squared, but I can do 8 squared. 8 squared is 64. Now again, I want to isolate my variable and get B by itself. So I need to subtract 9 from both sides. I have B squared, subtract 9 from 64, you get 55. Okay, I need to square root both sides. That leaves me with B is equal to. Now I want to show you, if I do 55 and the square root symbol, I get this long number. And it asks, so I have 7.416. But it asks me to go to the nearest tenth. So 7.416 for those first 3 numbers. Tenth. Whenever I want to go to the nearest tenth, I think about to the nearest 10 cents. So here I only want 1 decimal place. So I need to think about, this doesn't need to be here. If I have $7.41, nearest 10 cents would be $7.40. Well, I don't want that 0 at the end. So 7.4. Okay, and the next one, again, our hypotenuse is 20, our legs 17, and our unknown of a. So we're going to do a squared plus 17 squared equals our hypotenuse of 20 squared. So we have a squared. We can't figure that out yet, but we can figure out 17 squared, or 17 times 17 is 289. And 20 squared is 400. And I need to isolate my variable, so I need to subtract my 289 first. A squared is left because this goes away. I get 111. And now I need to find the square root of both sides, because then that will leave a by itself, rounding to the nearest tenth. So when I put this into my calculator, I get 10.53. Remember, nearest 10 cents. So this would be 10.5 or 50, and I don't want to write that 0 there. Okay. The converse. The converse of the Pythagorean theorem states that if the sides of a triangle have lengths a, b, and c, units such as that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. So if the triangle, this would be our, if a triangle is a right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. So you need to determine whether each triangle with sides of given lengths is a right triangle and justify your answer. So you have to look at these three lengths and say, if I square one and add it to the square of the other one, is it going to equal the third one squared? Well, you have to look first. Whichever is the longest one is going to be your c or your hypotenuse. So we have to see it. Check our answers. 36 squared plus 48 squared, does that equal 60 squared? I'm going to do my math. I'm going to show 3600, 48 squared is 2304, and 36 squared is 1296. So I need to pretty much figure out if these two added together gets me 36. Well, it does. So if 3600. 3600 equals 3600, then it's true. And justify your answer in a right triangle. When it says justify your answer, you need to tell me why this is. It's because it's a right triangle because the sum of the squares of the legs, these are the legs, the sum are equal to the square of the longer side or the hypotenuse. Okay, so let's check this one. This one is not written, smallest to largest, so we have to pull out and look. 7 is the longest, so it's going to be my hypotenuse or my c. So it's going to be 4 squared plus 5 squared. Does that equal 7 squared? 16 plus 25. Does that equal 49? This together, 41 equals 49. These do not equal. So this is not. Again, not a right triangle because the sum of the legs squared do not equal the hypotenuse squared. Okay, your assignment, page 415, 1 through 9 odd, number 12, 17 through 21 odd.